Welcome to A Course in Business Miracles. This is Heather Dominic, creator of BusinessMiracles.com and founder and leader of the highly sensitive entrepreneur movement. Join me today for some genuine practical assistance and a business-altering and life-changing experience, a business miracle. This is A Course in Business Miracles, episode number 64, HSE feature with Sarah Grace. Welcome to this Business Miracles HSE feature episode. I am just really thrilled to be featuring Sarah Grace as a member of the Business Miracles community and as a successful, highly sensitive entrepreneur. Sarah, aside from being a valued member of the Business Miracles community, is the creator of the revolutionary breakup organizing method that supports individuals in reclaiming their physical space after any type of significant life loss, whether that be the ending of a romantic relationship, the loss of a loved one, or even a job transition. Sarah is also the founder of Embrace Your Space NYC, which specializes in residential organizing for individuals. Sarah brings a background as a teacher to every client interaction, transferring skills and fostering new habits that will help individuals take control of their living environment. Yet, you will want to listen in as I talk with Sarah about how she was resistant to changing the way she charged and offered her work with clients, to how I helped her to see things in a new way. And through her willingness, she now works so much more efficiently with her clients, working fewer hours while creating greater, deeper, more meaningful results. We started working together in 2014, and by 2017, she had doubled her income, and now she is on track to triple it. Oh, and she got married in the midst of it all. It is such an honor to be a part of Sarah's HSE journey, and I'm just so pleased to be sharing this episode with you today. Welcome, Sarah. I'm so happy to be talking to you today.
Thank you, Heather. It's so great to connect.
Yay, beautiful. So here you are. I'm so happy to be having this conversation with you. And you and I can't even believe it, but we've known each other for quite a while now. So I'd love for you to share just about when and how we first connected and what was going on for you at that time.
Great. Yes, I'd love to. So I came to you when I was about a year into my business, and I had briefly worked with other coaches to get the business off the ground. But I had really just been kind of cobbling together different forms of support in a very DIY manner, and I knew that I needed more support. So somehow I stumbled onto a webinar that you were featured on and felt a connection right away and enrolled in your, what was then the 21-day series, and then into the 6-month program. And I went through the 6-month program, and I showed up for the retreat thinking that that was like the culmination of our time together, not realizing that there was actually a lot more to come.
Yes, a lot more to come. And when was that? Was that 2014?
That was, spring of 2014, and then the fall was in September.
Yeah. And what I have so appreciated about our journey is that, like you said, you started in what was available at that time as the 21-day series and then stepped into the 6-month mentoring program. But you have also experienced various aspects of the Business Miracles mentoring programs, and really in a way that has served and worked for you, which I so appreciate because that's exactly why the mentoring programs are designed the way that they are. So would you share a little bit that you went from the 6-month mentoring program and then what happened and where are you in the programming now?
So after the 6-month program, I stepped into Elite for 2 years, and then I stepped into Eminence for 2 years, and now I'm in Core. And the beauty is that I find that in whatever program I'm in, I get exactly the support I need. And I suspect that perhaps you are behind that. you know that every program is designed to support us in exactly the way we need it to.
Yes. Thank you for that. Absolutely. It is. It's all me. I am responsible. And absolutely, again, I so appreciate that has been your experience, but also that you really picked up on that, because each of the mentoring programs really is consciously designed to support exactly where an HSE is in their journey. So we have been mentoring together for 5 years now. And I would love for you to just share a little bit about, more of how that journey has been for you so far. I know that you've shared with me, aspects about what has shifted in regards to your self-awareness of what it means to be self-employed as a person who's highly sensitive. And I'd love for you to just share, again, a bit more about, the specifics of your HSE journey so far.
Yeah, I'd love to. So part of what I knew when I first connected with you that was so special was that you were teaching about the highly sensitive person. And my mom had given me Dr. Elaine Aron's book, The Highly Sensitive Person, back when I was, I think, in high school or college. So I had the context for what that meant intellectually, but I hadn't ever internalized it enough to realize how much of my identity was wrapped up in that, and also that it could be a strength. I didn't know how to feel good about it or to use it for good. And I had all of these years of being told that I was too sensitive, and I had to unlearn all of that. And I have to say that one of the biggest gifts really of my lifetime has been to learn from you how to reframe this really essential part of my identity, this sensitivity, and turn it into something that I'm comfortable with, something that I'm even proud of, and also something that I'm able to serve others through.
Beautiful. I so appreciate you speaking to that, because that is just behind everything that I create for the Business Miracles mentoring programs for highly sensitive entrepreneurs, which is how we can take what is a biological fact in regards to how we are wired as highly sensitive, but learn how to work with that in a way that truly has us operating in our strengths, and then therefore the highly sensitive aspect of our nature, so that it really truly is an asset to our business, but also to our life, rather than this thing that needs to be dealt with, hidden, worked through, burdened by. So I just, again, love hearing that from you.
Yeah,
and so let's talk about that difference. What would you say, or why don't you share, if you can, what has the impact on your business been? What have you seen happen in regards to your income, your schedule, anything along those lines?
Everything. I mean, the difference is night and day between now and when we started working together. Back in 2014, I had a really low hourly rate when I worked with clients. I was still working as a subcontractor for other organizers as I got my own practice up and running. I was actually still tutoring on the side, left over from my days as a teacher. I was in partnership with a container store that was feeding me misaligned clients, really more like transactional customers than sacred contract clients. And I was just running around a lot. It was a lot of frantic energy, a little bit here and there, and not really deep focus with aligned clients. And meanwhile, I had this vision for much more meaningful work, something I wanted to bring out into the world, something that I had thought of but hadn't really been able to deliver. So that was kind of where I was in business. But also on a personal note, all through my life, through teaching until I started my business, I got sick a lot. And I think it was kind of my subconscious way of giving me a way to retreat or have time for myself, or kind of, protect from all of the outside demands. And so from a business and a personal perspective, I was just really hustling and working really hard and feeling really burnt out. And through my work with you, that has completely transformed. And now I consciously design my life to suit my needs, because my daily life is I go into people's chaos, and my job is to turn that chaos into calm. And if I wasn't grounded and able to put up boundaries and use my sensitivities in a positive, productive way, I would just be completely burned out. And more importantly, my clients wouldn't be served.
Yes, yes, yes. So, Sarah, I've known you all this time, and I did not know this piece of your story about getting sick frequently. That is new information for me, and I'm not surprised, not because of you, but only because that is something that we do tend to experience as HSEs is getting sick, right? And especially if we tend towards the coping mechanism of pushing. Exactly as you said, the body will force you into a space of recovery and recuperation when, especially again, from that coping mechanism of pushing where you're really driving against your nature. So one, I love that I just learned something new about you. And two, I am so grateful that is not what you are experiencing at all anymore. And that, as you just shared, you do have so much more of a grounded, balanced approach to the business and as well to your day-to-day life. And so what would you say are some of the tangible tools and teachings that, have supported you in being able to make this shift?
I was pretty resistant to changing the way I charged and offered my work with clients, and you really helped me to see things in a new way and have a new way of looking at it and a willingness to do things differently, which took a little while. But as a result of reworking my packages and really streamlining my offers, I now work so much more efficiently with my clients, working fewer hours with them for much greater, deeper, more meaningful results. And so we started working together in 2014, and by 2017, I had doubled my income, and this year I'm on track to triple it.
Fantastic. So beautiful. This income is such a celebration, and just as much a celebration is this more balanced approach to the business and to your life, as we've spoken about. And so I feel like it's really important to add in here that you've also had like a significant life change in the last year of getting married. And you did that so beautifully and with such grace. And do you think you would have, or let me ask, what do you think it would have been like trying to get married, being back in that space of hustle that you described of where you were before you stepped into the HSE teachings? Do you think it would have been different?
It would have been terrible. I would have been planning and operating completely in my shadows, and it would have been miserable for me and everyone involved.
Yeah. And yay, that was not your experience at all.
No, it was not. And I would say, that wasn't like a content or a tool teaching that you provide, but it was certainly a huge learning that I got from you, which was, up until that point, I had been just pouring a lot of myself into my business, I think as a lot of entrepreneurs do. And then you and I had a private mentor call and you helped me make a shift. And I think at the time we kind of saw it as a temporary fix for the wedding planning, but it turned out to be a real lasting change in how I operate my business. And those tweaks are still going on. And it completely flipped my mindset from pushing to being supported by my business. And now I feel like I actually run a business rather than like pushing a business.
Yeah. And rather than your business running you, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And for sure, on that private mentor call, we introduced it as a temporary support so that you could be married and go through the wedding planning process in a way that was balanced and full of grace. But I'll just share that my intention was absolutely that it was long lasting. So you thought it was temporary, but I had a bigger vision I was holding, and I'm so happy that is absolutely how it is unfolded. And so there's also the element of being in community, which is so important for us HSEs, being in aligned community. And I know that at our last training retreat, and you and I were talking at the end of the training retreat, and you said something that really touched me is, I let you know that it was just always so glad to see you and have you in the room. And you had said, this is where I belong. And that just meant so much to me, because that is such a key element to the success of us HSEs. So I'd love for you to share just a little bit about, what has been being part of the Business Miracles community for HSEs been like for you?
Well, being in the community is such a gift, because it's a place where we all just get each other, and I don't have to armor up or apologize for who I am. I remember on the first retreat, I had just come off of going to other retreats and being in lots of rooms with 80%ers. And at your retreat, you gave us permission to eat alone and have silent breaks. And I was like, this is so civilized. And no one was telling me that I should talk more or be different. It was just so welcoming and so nourishing. And, I'm not the most vocal member of the community or the most active, but I really get exactly what I need, both on the forum and when we're together in person. And it's just always such a gift. And I also find that experience of being with other HSEs, that fuels me when I go into other rooms in my real life. So when I go into BNI on Tuesday mornings, which is not a room of highly sensitive people, I still get to enter as someone who has learned that I don't have to armor up or apologize, because I kind of have that muscle memory, knowing that who I am is okay. I don't have to be different.
Oh, fantastic. That's such a beautiful example of something that I know that I share all the time, is that especially when we do come together in person for the Business Miracles training retreat, that I like to say we practice it in here so that we can go be it out there. And I so appreciate that you just spoke to that, because aligned community is a success element for us HSEs, not so that we can come together and enable each other and isolate from the world, but so truly that we can, in a safe community environment, learn how to be out in the world. So I love that you reference that you can step into BNI, I always want to say Breakfast Networking International, and it's not. It's it's Business Networking International, but a lot of BNI meetings happen in the morning, which is why that always sticks in my head. But yeah, that is a room of many various types of business owners, and so beautiful to hear that, because of your connection with the community and because of the Business Miracles teachings, you really feel solidly comfortable and confident in your own skin and really able to hold your own. That is absolutely the intent, because if we want to be successful in business, we as highly sensitives are meant to be the royal advisors to those who are not highly sensitive, which means that we have to interact with them. Yeah. And you had referenced 80%ers, and someone who may or may not know my language is that, I refer to those who are not highly sensitive as 80%ers, because through Dr. Aaron's work, she has determined that there are 20% of us who are born into the world highly sensitive. And so we, as the 20%, are meant to learn how to really be able to, again, be in connection, communication, and service to the other 80%. So I love that is your experience. Again, it's such a beautiful, tangible example. And so I also would love to just highlight, some aspects that you've shared with me previously, that in regards to being in community, how that also supports you is from not slipping into loneliness and irritation about being a solopreneur. And that also, you have been a person, like you said, you tend to be more quiet, which is totally beautifully accepted in the community. But you also in the past haven't necessarily asked for help. So I'd love for you to speak just a little bit to the loneliness, the irritation, the difficulty in asking for help, because I know that you're not the only HSE who has experienced that. So what has shifted around all of that for you?
Yeah, I think part of that is my personality, and part of it is some training I got being a highly sensitive person growing up and thinking that, well, I think I do things differently. I'll just have to figure it out on my own. I clearly can't rely on other people to kind of show me the way, because the way they do things is not aligned with the way that I'm wired. And so being in this community has allowed me to reframe that a bit and feel that it's safe to ask for help and know that when I put myself out there, I will be supported rather than judged. And it's still something I'm learning, asking for help and being visible, but I'm getting a lot of evidence that it's worthwhile and very, very supportive. And the community is just so grounding, and I feel like it really connects me to my essential self and tethers me to my essential self, which reminds me of my new favorite phrase. I was talking to my mom before one of the recent retreats and explaining why I continue to re-enroll in your programs, about how this isn't just getting content and then going back and doing it myself. It's about staying in community so that this is a continual journey of evolution. And I said to her, I just don't want to do it on my own. I don't want to be untethered. And she heard unheathered. And I love that, because that's how I feel. Is I don't want to be unheathered because I know that this is the support I need. And the only way to get better about getting support and asking for what I need is to be surrounded by that.
I love that too. I have a huge smile on my face because I just have appreciated that story from the first time that you shared it with me. And I love that you just shared it again. The mind will hear what the mind needs to hear.
Yes. So right.
So what would you say, to another highly sensitive entrepreneur who maybe is listening and thinking like, yeah, well, Sarah, she was able to do that, but, I don't know if I can actually make a go of this myself. What would you have to share with them?
Well, my advice to them is the same as my advice to myself all along, which is what I've learned from you, which is to stay with it. And that this is really a layering process. And the more I allow myself to surrender to the process, the more fully I can live and serve who I'm meant to serve. So I would just tell people, stay with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It really, truly is a process, And as I've heard you so beautifully share, asking for help can be scary and evolving is uncomfortable. But when you're really, in that space of answering the call to be a successful HSE, the support is the key element that makes all the difference in the world. And then it's not so scary and it's not so uncomfortable, and it doesn't need to be so lonely or isolating. It's been so beautiful to really, see and be a continued witness and participant in your own metamorphosis and really coming into this really beautiful HSE, who is her essential self and is bringing that more and more into her work and into her clients. And you are absolutely such a gift to those that you serve, and you're a real gift to the Business Miracles community as well. So, of course, it's amazing if someone can find a personal organizer who's also a highly sensitive. So where can others find out more about you and the incredible work that you're doing yourself as an HSE?
Thank you. My website is embraceyourspacenyc.com, and I'm on Instagram and Twitter at embracespacenyc. And people can also email me if they'd like at Sarah, SARAH, at embraceyourspacenyc.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for taking the time and being willing to pull back the curtain on your own HSE journey and experience and, who you are and what you've created. Again, it's such a gift. I'm so glad we had this conversation time together today, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Heather. I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you. Beautiful. All right. Until next time.
thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of A Course in Business Miracles. If you're ready to learn how to use your highly sensitive abilities to support you in being purposeful, profitable, and empowered rather than scattered, poor, and undervalued, take my free self-quiz to find out if you are indeed a highly sensitive entrepreneur. And if you are, along with your quiz results, you'll receive my free HSE Success Guide, which will teach you how to have your highly sensitive abilities working for you to create the results you desire in your business. Take the quiz and receive your free success guide now at www.hsequiz.com.